guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dana with the Data. Yeah, so today I want to go back to the year 2020, the 2020 election. Do you remember when Ice Cube just exposed the biggest lie in Black American politics? And what he revealed at that time shocked us all. But before we get into it, please, guys, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the like button, share this video, share, and comment in the comment section below. And most importantly, go to my Gives and Go and donate and support the Real Dana platform. All right, so let's get into it. For 60 years, Black voters have overwhelmingly supported Democrats, yet nothing has fundamentally changed. But when Ice Cube tried to work with both parties to create real change, he got attacked from all sides, even the Black side. I think the Black side was the loudest voice of all. But here's what nobody's talking about. Ice Cube contract for Black America versus Trump's Platinum Plan. It reveals something disturbing about how Black Americans are really viewed by both political parties. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why Ice Cube says the current system is broken and why he was in the past, why he was willing to work with anyone, even his critics, to fix it. Sometimes it is good for us to go down memory lane and discuss these things because it's going to teach us how to not repeat the same mistakes. Let's set the stage. It's 2020. George Floyd had just been killed and America is burning. Cities across the country are experiencing unprecedented unrest. And everyone's asking the same question: what needs to change? That's when Ice Cube releases something called Contract for Black America, a detailed policy document addressing systemic issues affecting Black communities: banking reform, criminal justice, education, healthcare, everything. Here's where it gets interesting. The Republicans reached out, but the Democrats at first was a little hesitant. Ice Cube eventually meets with both sides. The Republicans say, we want to implement parts into our plan before the election. The Democrats were saying, we like 90% of this, but let's talk after the election. And that's when all hell broke loose.
About reaching out to people. Did you connect with the Congressional Black Caucus at all? Because they reached out after they saw what happened yesterday. They reached out to me. And they sent me this. They sent me, go to my iPad, guys. Come on. Platinum Plan versus.
Anything.
Okay. No, I was talking to the control room. Right. I'm going to read it to you. Platinum Plan versus Contract with Black America versus CBC legislation. You call for your CBWA calls for ending qualified immunity, banning chokeholds, and elimination of no-knock warrants. The CBC says all of that is included in the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, but it hasn't been enacted by the folks there in Congress. I mentioned Juneteenth, the federal holiday. The same thing about anti-lynching law. Your contract calls for baby bonds of $1,000 for all new babies. The CBC says that's in their CBC's Jobs and Justice Act. You proposed a plan for neo-reconstruction. The CBC said we gave President Trump a 125-page detailed plan to do this in 2017. 4 years later, we've seen nothing. And according to the CBC, and I want you to respond to this here. According to the CBC, you propose a one-time interest-free home loan for qualified Black Americans. The CBC says, quote, this plan only addresses access to a loan for certain Black people. It does not address necessary relief provisions to prevent foreclosures and expand forbearance for homeowners. But the CBC Jobs and Justice Act does. And so what the Congressional Black Caucus says is the things that you're saying that these things have not been done, have not been focused on. They say It has been done. It's literally in our bills. They were passed by the House but ignored by the Senate. The Black Census Project that Alicia was working on, they dropped in 2019. She's saying they have been working on those things. And so just your response to that was, especially with the CBC saying, no, it's actually in our bills that have been passed. But they were passed by the House but ignored by the Senate.
My thing is keep up the good work. Keep going at it. We got to get it passed.
Now, let me just say this about Roland Martin, because he was comparing Ice Cube's contract for Black America with the Congressional Black Caucus agenda. But the problem is, it's funny how the Congressional Black Caucus miraculously came up with an agenda for Black America at the same time as Ice Cube's contract for Black America and Trump's Platinum Plan. And then Roland goes on to complain that, none of their policies were passed and implemented because it was blocked by the House and the Senate or what have you. However, under Obama, the Democrats control the House and the Senate. So why didn't the Congressional Black Caucus present those same policies under the Obama administration? That's just a sidebar that I want you guys to just keep in mind here. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Black media personalities, Democrat operatives, and political commentaries came from Ice Cube.
That conversation was incredibly offensive. It's ahistorical. It completely diminishes and dismisses the work that is being done by organizations like what Alicia Garza heads up, the Black Futures Lab. Here is what I don't think that Ice Cube seems to want to take any accountability for or recognize. The Platinum Plan is a propaganda document. And it's fine to work with both parties. He has been transparent about that. I encouraged him to actually meet with the Congressional Black Caucus, which it appears that he didn't do back in August. When I made that suggestion, I encouraged him to reach out to Black women and include them in his contract for Black America, which completely excludes Black women, Black children, the LGBTQ community, and so on and so forth. It has nothing in there about environmental justice. It has nothing in there about a whole slew of issues for Ice Cube to think that his contract for Black America is so far superior and so groundbreaking when it's really very pedestrian, and a lot of his ideas are frankly unconstitutional and would never get past the 6-3 Amy Coney Barrett majority court. Okay, so that's another thing. But this document is a propaganda document. What he did was not just meet with people he can't even seem to identify by name in the Trump campaign. What he did by allowing them to attach his name to their plan is he legitimized the Trump propaganda. He legitimized statements like what it says in the Platinum Plan that Trump has achieved historic employment levels for Black Americans. The reality is that he inherited 7.78% Black unemployment from Biden and Obama, and it's now 13%, which is almost double that of white unemployment. We have lost 41% of small Black businesses under Trump. And with Ice Cube belligerently sitting up here and refusing to take accountability or acknowledge that he got played, which is what it sounds like he got played, okay? Or maybe he's just so cynical about the process that he thinks that you have to attach your name to something just to get a meeting, which isn't true, okay? People decline to say, well, you can use my name or you can use a photo or whatever the situation may be. But it's irresponsible, it's offensive, and he needs to take accountability. And he's not equipped, which he proved here. We couldn't even get through a conversation with Alicia Garza or answer any of the things that you pointed out. Is not equipped to be the spokesperson.
Listening to Reese Colbert talking about the Platinum Plan is a propaganda document and Ice Cube legitimized Trump propaganda, saying that Ice Cube got played is far from the truth. But Ice Cube fired back, and his response reveals something deeper about American politics that nobody wants to admit.
You actually attacked Trump at one point, but you were willing to meet with Trump. Do you think that crossed a line?
I think some people didn't like that, but I think it's idiotic. Enemies meet.
Right.
They talk. I'm pretty sure there's some communication between Russia and the Ukraine right now. Somebody's on the phone talking to somebody, trying to come up with a solution. So we just got to talk. That's the only way we're going to work this out. You know, I know when the talking stops, the fighting starts.
He said, I think it's silly not to talk to people. Enemies meet, right? They talk. I'm pretty sure there's communication between Russia and Ukraine right now. But here's what's really telling. Ice Cube revealed he's been systemically excluded from major platforms. The View won't have him on. Oprah won't include him in cast appearance for movies he produced. Think about this. Ice Cube grew up in South Central, became successful through his own merit, speaks his mind with dignity. Everything we say we want to celebrate. But the moment he thinks independently, he's persona non grata. Remember that? Persona non grata, meaning unwelcome.
I care about what's in this contract with Black America for women, and it's not, we're not mentioned at all in the contract with Black America. And I
You are
want to
mentioned. I mean, when you mention Black people, you mentioning Black women. So don't count yourself out. Yes,
that's
you are.
not true.
That's like administration say that when they
Black people is not Black women.
That's not
Black
true.
women are not included in Black people.
No,
Come on, ladies.
but that's like, you know, that's like you saying, that's like when the president says minorities, then he's including Black people. But we all know that that's not the case. Black women have specific needs that are not also being met. And we also feel that there should be some things that are specific to us and our plight as well. And I
understand that.
I feel like as a Black man, you can lead.
No,
I feel like
I just offered y'all to write a section up for it. I just said I don't mind if you guys help us. If you guys help us write a section. No, I've been open to all kind of experts in putting this together. It wasn't just me. We dealt with experts in all fields of this contract with Black America. So we're willing to deal with experts in the section when it comes to women. So that's no problem.
Okay,
I'll help you write it. I'll help you write it.
Say you do get the money. How soon do you think your plan is going to go into effect? When will we start seeing the benefits?
I'm not getting 1 quarter. Okay,
this is something I said
this is something he's promising to the country, and he's gonna have to implement it in a way he feel that can fit.
Okay, but can I just ask though, what would you see this plan doing for the first year for us if he's reelected?
I'm not part of the administration.
Well,
I'm not here. I'm here for Black people. I'm here to talk to both administrations about the contract with Black America. The Platinum Plan is not mine. Didn't name it. Didn't put it together. All I did was meet about the contract with Black America. They added some things, and I'm willing to meet with both sides. They can add some things or not. It's fine.
And then, they ran off immediately and did statements that you're basically a Republican now.
We're going to need a team of our people.
That's on them. That ain't on me.
Okay.
That's on them. That's not on me.
I just want to make sure. We just want clarity.
Now, let's get into the actual policies, because this is where it gets really interesting. Ice Cube's contract for Black America includes banking and financial reform, criminal justice reform, education initiatives, healthcare improvements, economic development programs. Now, let's look at Trump's Platinum Plan promise. $500 billion in access capital, 3 million new jobs, 500,000 new Black-owned businesses, healthcare improvements, criminal justice reform.
So why would you be doing this of all interviews? I mean, you could do an interview with anyone. You're doing an interview with me. Obviously, you're going to take abuse for doing that. Like, why would you do that?
Because I think it's silly not to talk to people. I think whether we agree or not,
right?
That has nothing to do with it. It's like, this is what it's all about. Let's talk about it. Let's debate. And I've been shut out.
Wait, that sounds like right-wing extremism and whataboutism.
But I've been shut out. Some platforms will not have me on.
Why?
They don't like that I'm, an independent thinker. I'm not part of the herd. I'm not part of the go along to get along gang, so to speak. So, I'm an outsider. And so, I'm not part of the club. So I have to go places for one that I'm welcome and where I can voice my opinion without somebody, saying I'm a bad person and that they never want to have me on their platform again.
But Ice Cube's point wasn't about supporting Trump. It was about getting anyone to commit to actual policy changes.
The Biden administration agreed with 85% of what you had in there. What didn't they agree with?
I guess 85% because I still haven't spoken to them about it. So, they haven't done anything to act on it. I've had one conversation with an assistant to the president, but no talk with the president, and no other movement. So we're still working though. We're still, like I said, working behind the scenes. We have, hopefully a major announcement to make soon. And, we're going to go to the private companies and see if they are willing to change some of their practices to move the needle and help, all of us prosper.
How did you view the heat that you took for engaging with the Trump administration?
I just think people didn't understand, exactly where I was coming from. And people are really used to seeing, black people just go on one side to the Democratic Party. And, we've been doing that for a long time as a people. And we haven't really gained as much as I believe we should. And I believe it's important to engage with both sides, and not just one side. Because if the one side you're engaging with doesn't respond, there's nowhere to turn. So I think by engaging with both sides, you put everybody on notice that whoever's going to do the most for the people is who we should roll with, even if it goes against what the majority of the country wants.
Here's what Ice Cube identified that makes everyone uncomfortable. Black Americans have voted Democrat at an 85 to 90% rates for decades. But fundamental conditions haven't changed. As he puts it, Black people have supported Democrats overwhelmingly for 50 to 60 years, and nothing has changed. So something's got to change.
One more thing I wanted to ask about was like in the 2020, when you kind of supported Trump and stuff like that, what did you think about, like, because you're Hollywood, there's a lot of like propaganda and stuff like that. What was that like, getting flack for that?
I mean, I never supported Trump or Biden. I never asked to speak to the Republicans or the Democrats. I created a document called The Contract with Black America that spelled out a lot of different issues that we believe were the reason why it was so much unrest after George Floyd was killed. And I released the document, and everybody wanted to talk to me. The Republicans asked to talk to me, and the Democrats. I went to talk to both of them about the contract. The Republicans asked, could they implement some things from the contract into their proposal? And I said the document was open for anybody to use in any way they desired. So if they just want to use it as educational purposes, they could. They wanted to add more paragraphs or more ideas to it, they could. They wanted to use it to get a law changed, they could. So I didn't mind them using it. I met with the Democrats. The Democrats said, we like 90% of what's in there, and we'll talk to you after the election about it.
There's like a stigma amongst like the African American community to like Republicans and stuff like that.
I don't know what's going on in the African American community when it comes to that. You know what I mean? Like, Black people have supported Democrats, overwhelmingly for 50, 60 years. And nothing has changed. So something's got to change.
The numbers back this up. Black Americans represent 13 to 15% of the population, but control only 0.5% of the wealth. That's not a Republican problem or a Democrat problem. That's a systemic problem.
We have, 13 to 15% of the country trying to live off of half a percentage of wealth, 0.05% of wealth. So that's an issue. That's a problem. We have to have access to capital so we can do cool things for South Central. If we drove past one of those lots and a guy that lived there wanted to put a store up, he just couldn't get a loan because of his zip code. Now, guys from outside the area, they can come in and they can get a loan and put that store up. And that has to change.
But when he tried to address this very thing by working with whoever will listen, the political establishments on both sides attacked him. Not so much on the Republican side, but here's why. Because independent thinking threatens the system. Just did a video on Candace Owens. She backtracked her remarks that she made about Louis Farrakhan 6 years ago. And she said, hey, those were not her talking points. She was told to say those things. She was told to not do her own research. Ice Cube's real message isn't about Republican versus Democrat. It's about results versus rhetoric. He said something profound. It's not about race. It's not about color and gender. It's about who do you connect with? Who wants to do the right thing? He's also called out how racial division is being manufactured. A lot of people make a lot of money off of races fighting against each other and bickering. And they're the ones who push it in all our faces. That would be more the media. The media does that a lot. The fact that he's been systematically excluded from major platforms for thinking independently proves his point. When you step outside the approved narrative, you get silenced. Think about it. Republicans wanted to use his ideas before the election to win votes. Granted. Democrats wanted to discuss them after the election when they wouldn't need to commit to anything. Ice Cube saw right through both strategies. For me personally, if you make a promise before you win and you don't keep that promise, we are able to use that against you. So I would give the Republicans one up on that. Ice Cube's story reveals the uncomfortable truth about American politics. Both parties want Black votes, but neither wants Black independence. 1000% agree with that. As he said, you're supposed to dance with the person you brought to the dance. And if that doesn't happen, you got to go find another dance partner before the night is up and the music stops. So here's my question to you. Should Black Americans continue supporting politicians based on party loyalty? Or should we demand specific policy commitments regardless of any political party? Let me know in the comment sections. If this opens your eyes to something new, hit that subscribe button. The truth isn't Republican or Democrat. It's about power and who's really willing to share it. Correction. Who is willing to take it? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Dana with the Data, and I will see you in the next video.
Dana with the Data. Dana with the Data.